What does a $300 titanium wood burning stove from Amazon look like? Today on Dave's Post-Apocalyptic World. So I'm glad I did some research before buying my first titanium wood stove because I didn't know how much it should cost or what it should look like. And after looking at some videos of even good quality expensive ones, they are supposed to be flimsy. So this is titanium. The idea of titanium is that it should last for life and never rust or burn through like even stainless steel wood. And so if you purchase it once, you have it for life, and it's at this price at $300, it's not that much more expensive than a comparable non-titanium stove. But I did take a chance. Most stoves that look like this online of quality or known brands would cost maybe $400, $500, $600 or more even with the, in this case we've got little windows. So let's see what it looks like when we unpack it. We'll do the chimney in a little bit. So this will be the top. A lot of titanium stoves you kind of have to put together on site, but others like this one are actually folding. So this is one unit right here, and let's see how it unfolds. We also have these latches which make assembly much more straightforward. There's no guesswork. And it makes a nice, tight, solid package. So this took about a minute. Definitely you could do this in an emergency and put it all together. We do have our little windows that add ambiance, and also you can see what's going on inside the fire. And then we open it up. We have our door and a way to control how much oxygen we want to let flow through. So this is the main stove part. Let's take a look at the chimney. Again, if I hadn't done some research online, I wouldn't have known what it should look like. Basically, they're giving us a very long, thin piece of what looks like aluminum foil, but it's titanium. At this point, we're definitely going to want to put on some gloves. And today we're going to do a first burn of this stove, which means it's never been fired before. And they advise that you do that at home before going camping. So before we do an actual first burn, an important step is to clean the surface with rubbing alcohol or isopropyl. So once again, this is an important step because if we had left any fingerprints on our titanium stove, when we heat it up for the first time, all the oils or potential oils in our fingertips would be embedded in the titanium forever. So when we start heating this up with a hot fire inside it, it's going to turn different colors like blue, and any imperfections that we left on there are going to remain forever. So it's a very good idea to clean it down with isopropyl alcohol or rubbing alcohol. And we should be just about ready for our first burn now. We've got our wood all cut up, and we've got our welding blankets ready to go. And I would say, let's make a fire. So we have chosen this location for our test burn because when we put up the stovepipe, this area is right underneath a trap door up to the roof. And when we open it up, it should be enough ventilation and circulation for the smoke, hopefully. And then when we test with the actual tent on top of it, this is where the tent's gonna go. So now we're gonna put on the stovepipe. Yep. Okay, now for the moment of truth, we're gonna light this baby up. I wanted to point out that I did remove this hose clamp because it looks like the natural diameter of the stove is actually supposed to lie inside this here ring. And if I insisted on putting it on the outside with the hose clamp, then the whole assembly seems to be a little bit off. So we're gonna keep a close eye on it and go like that. Here we go. Okay, so first report after like 5 minutes. This thing is insanely hot. It's already changed color here, and the stove thermometer reads about 300 F 150C. So this thing is hot, so I'm looking out for anything that could be dangerous, you know, like a fire inside the house. Okay, so that was kind of like the first test. It got going. I'm gonna keep adding and do it maybe what they call a second or third burn. Let's put on some of these accessories. So the kit came with this stainless steel basket. They say you're supposed to put either rocks in it or it's to dry kindling. And here is a side rack. So far so good. We had it cranking at about 200C, 400F up there where it is. And we've seen no weird smoke problems. Now for the final test for today, and it's for our DIY do-it-yourself chimney jack. And the idea is that when we have a tent, we need to protect the lining of the tent against the stovepipe. So there's many ways to do this, but I would like to try the test where if we put this welding blanket right up against it to protect the fabric and yet not burn it, and that's the test I'm going to do now. Wow, first wood stove coffee. Okay, boys and girls, this is the final test. Everything's worked great so far. We're gonna try one last massive burn with our welding blanket right up against the chimney, see if there's any kind of burning or smells, and to see if we can touch the outside of it while the inside of it is really hot. And the thermometer is right in there too. Right now it's kind of died out at 150 degrees Fahrenheit. And so we're gonna load it up, see how hot we can do it, and see if there's any adverse effects or anything that looks dangerous. So far so good. Right, Kitty? Oh boy, you can hear it cranking. So our goal is to get to like 200, 250 degrees Celsius or 4 to 450 Fahrenheit. This is a great test because this is as hot as we've ever gotten it. In fact, it's hotter. It's getting to past the burn zone of 300 degrees Celsius and almost 600 degrees Fahrenheit. And you can see some smoke coming out of the welding blanket. And so this would be way too hot to touch. This is hotter than I would expect to even go in the tent itself. This is ridiculous. So this is crazy. We've gone way beyond the temperature expectations. The thermometer shows almost 400 degrees Celsius, over 700 degrees Fahrenheit. The welding blanket is resting right up against the stovepipe, and I can touch it. So this is what will be resting against the tent fabric. And keep in mind, I would never attempt to go this hot inside the little tent. But it's good to know that this little stove could actually heat up a nice area. And in your abandoned building, usually it's very airy and open spaced, so you could actually set this up, and maybe I will in the future, in pretty much any room of the house, and just have some exhaust because there's so many holes in the building anyway. So thanks for joining me. Mission accomplished. Join me next time on Dave's Post-Apocalyptic World when we're going to actually hook this up to an actual tent and maybe cook dinner and be all cozy on Dave's Post-Apocalyptic World.